To get more on this, the indefatigable Cameron Stewart, Washington correspondent, The Australian, and very generous Sky News contributor as well. Cam, thanks as ever for your time. Let's just look at the state of play. I mean, Nevada, I'm willing to say here, looks just about a lock given what ballots we have left there, and it's been Democrat in the past. Arizona projected by Fox News and AP. How confident do you think we can be about this? The latest small batch actually trended back towards Joe Biden, but this has been a huge point of contention for the Trump campaign, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, it certainly has. I mean, of the four states in play at the moment, Nevada and Arizona, Biden is definitely the favourite still in those states. In Georgia and and Pennsylvania, you're really looking at a toss-up. In Pennsylvania, you could almost argue that Biden is the favourite. He's coming back at Donald Trump with quite a lot of speed. There's a lot of votes to be counted there. A lot of them are from Philadelphia, which is very strongly Democrat-leaning. So that is one where it really is a toss-up, but Biden could get that, and that's the one we may hear the result of in a few hours' time, possibly. Georgia is a much more it's an incredible line ball state, that one. I think that Trump still has a reasonable chance there. And, of course, the other two, Nevada, it takes a long time to count the votes in Nevada, so we're not going to hear anything from them till tomorrow. And Arizona, again, a very slow process. They'll update the figures later today, Tom, but no clear result from them probably until tomorrow or the next day. Yeah,
Nevada is an interesting one because on all the logic, it goes to the Democrats, but you just want to see enough of that data, don't you, because you need some certainty. So that's the map and how it all works out. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because if it comes down to Pennsylvania, that seems to be the biggest focus of the Trump campaign and legal challenges, perhaps because of the mere size of it. It's important to stress here that actually, thanks to a stalemate between the Democrats and Republicans at a state level, absentee ballots could not be legally counted until the close of the polls. So, you know, running a campaign based on how can the votes be swayed so much to the Democrats right now, it was always going to be the case. Laws made it the case. And for the same reason, on the day, we saw this massive surge of Republican votes.
That's right. Look, the Pennsylvania electoral voting system is a complete Byzantine nightmare, really. One of the problems was actually the Republicans in the state delayed court rules that could allow mail-in votes to be counted before the election day. So that's one of the actual reasons why there's problems in Pennsylvania, is because of that Republican vote as well. Just going back to Nevada briefly, Tom, very important point to make here that it's very, very close, of course, less than 1%. However, those counties that are still to come through with their vote are Democrat-leaning counties. So nothing is certain here, but if you're going to be tossing a coin, you'd be thinking that Biden is going to get home in Nevada, but of course we won't know yet. And you're right, if Pennsylvania, of all the legal states where we're going to have the biggest legal fights, it will be Pennsylvania. So certainly if Biden does win Pennsylvania, you can imagine that the Trump administration will understandably throw the kitchen sink at it and do everything possible, probably even try to get into the US Supreme Court. Yeah. That's probably where they have the most viable legal arguments. The other states, I think they're struggling a bit.
So how do you, I know this is somewhat of an unknown, but how do you think the legal challenge in Pennsylvania might play out? What's the best chance of the Trump campaign? What sort of challenge could they maybe get to the Supreme Court that these justices, remember, you know, they might be a bit of team red and team blue on social issues, but some of this stuff is pretty black and white.
Yeah, look, I don't think, obviously I'm not a constitutional lawyer here, but from what I've read, it certainly doesn't seem to be a clear-cut case that they could take to the Supreme Court. Legal experts have been quoted all around the country here saying they don't actually see a clear case either. But it seems to me, Tom, that the issue that they're going to fight if they do is this local rule that you can look at the ballots when the mail-in, you get a postmark on the ballot that is on election day or before, and you can still count it up to 3 days afterwards. That's something that that has been challenged already. The local Pennsylvania Supreme Court said it's okay. They approved it. They rejected that challenge. But of course, that could be taken to the US Supreme Court if the US Supreme Court chooses to accept it.
And just to clarify that, Sorry to jump in, but those votes, according to the State Attorney General, and we're going to hear from them any minute, we'll go there live, they're being segregated just in case that case is lost. The vote needs to have been cast before but can arrive after and still be counted within that 3-day window.
That's right, and that's an unusual law. That's a law that a lot of other states don't have. Some of them do have that sort of law, but Pennsylvania, it's so close. And Donald Trump doesn't like that. He's not happy with this notion that you can count votes 3 days after the actual poll. So look, it'll be interesting. I think that's probably the area that they'll go for. But of course, it'll become a moot point if Joe Biden wins Nevada, for example.
Yeah, or as well, I mean, they might go for it. If there's a decent margin in Pennsylvania, if we're talking tens of thousands to Biden, that would obviously be another aspect of that, because how many votes would there be those 3 days? I just want to delve into the psychology. We know the rhetoric from Donald Trump so far suggests he wants to fight this. You spoke about the legal avenues. But if we see a buffer for Joe Biden, let's say he wins Pennsylvania and Arizona, maybe even Georgia, the legal challenges then would look quixotic. Could we see Donald Trump at that point jump before he's pushed, and not have this 2 months humiliation where everyone's saying you're delusional, but say, get in a chopper, head to Mar-a-Lago, well, I'm done with this. In the psychology of the man, I just can't imagine him sitting there being ridiculed day after day while these legal challenges fail.
Look, I think I'm actually of the opinion that Donald Trump may well...
All right, sorry to jump in. We've got to go live to Pennsylvania.